welcome to Brews with Comic Dudes. We are Brews with Comic Dudes. Listen, dudes, drinking brews and talking comics. Of course. Yeah, see, it all makes sense. Dudes with brews talking about comics.
Welcome to Brews with Comic Dudes, episode 9. Yep, we got it right this time. If you're on Facebook Live, thank you for watching us on Facebook Live. If you're listening to us on the podcast, you can find a video of us doing exactly what we're doing right now, this second, on Facebook. Well, it won't be on Facebook Live. It'll be on Facebook on the webpage. It will not be live.
But it'll be live at the time.
So when you're listening to this, I'll be saying something other than this.
It will feel.
It will be an experience. I'll tell you that right now. The only thing that's different is it's not 4D, so it's kind of different. So, all right.
Is that the one with smell-o-vision?
Smell-o-vision, yeah. Like in Disney World, if you've ever been to the big tree, not the Giving Tree, I think, but yeah. There's like weird things. It shoots water at you, like rumbles under your butt for like ants. All right. If I might as well get this out of there right now. If you do not follow us on Facebook or iTunes or SoundCloud, just do it right now. If you're listening to us on one of those formats, you can actually get out of the listening part and just hit like and give us some reviews or something. Because nobody wants to review us. I don't know if that means we're just not worth the trouble of reviewing or whatnot, but I'll take 5 stars over a comment any day. With drinks. Well, I mean, with people, I guess. It's me, Andrew Dort. You got Seth Norden. And you got Steve Anderson.
Hello.
Really, you've seen us numerous times before, so I feel like we don't need a big introduction.
No introductions necessary, I would say,
today.
at this point.
So we saved 2 minutes on that. All right. Oh, no, low network connection. All right. Well, let's hope for the best with that. Or else we might have to restart this all over again. So, let's go with what we're drinking. Seth.
I got Great Lakes Oktoberfest, and I was saying that this is either the freshest Oktoberfest that they could possibly have, seeing as it's August, or it is the oldest Oktoberfest that they could possibly have. But that worked out pretty good.
All right.
Cool. What you drinking there, Steve?
I'm drinking Arche's Blueberry Hefeweizen, a full-bodied Hefeweizen with a smooth finish featuring refreshing blueberry notes. That's Arche. It's a local brewery in the Valley in Akron, Ohio.
Is it good?
It's all right. The blueberry is definitely there. It's more blueberry and less Hefeweizen than I was expecting.
Okay.
Very nice.
Sounds interesting.
This drink has been on the show before, as I was reminded. It is Holy Moses Raspberry White Ale. It has just enough raspberry that it's not too disgusting. And I'm not a big white ale guy or an ale of any sorts of a person, but I enjoy it. I enjoy a nice fruity splash of anything into something I am drinking.
So do you prefer the raspberry version over their standard version?
I've not had their standard version in a long time, but
okay.
I would say yes.
I would agree. I like the raspberry better.
I like IPAs and I like citrusy, fruitier IPAs. Not like a Leinenkugel, kind of like summer shandy fruit stuff, but just I prefer more of a bite with hops. But this is enough for me to tolerate, but still enjoy at the same time.
Tolerable.
And that's all I need for a beer. All right. While keeping this short, let's try and let's control our enthusiasm.
Welcome to Steve Anderson's Luke Cage podcast about Luke Cage.
I'll be back in an hour.
I'm just kidding.
Anyways, well, okay. What have you watched recently that you would like to talk about for a minute?
I've been watching Infinity War.
Infinity War?
It's old
Very
news.
topical. Just came out on digital release.
Yep. It was released digitally.
What, Tuesday?
I was gonna say it's been at least 2
Comes
days.
out on DVD the 14th.
It's been a fun one to rewatch. couple times.
I'm controlling myself very hard to not buy it on digital when I know I will buy it on disc either way.
I
need to watch it over and over again.
And I off the top of my head, that's the only one I can think of.
Anything new that you noticed after watching it
Yeah.
2 more times?
Without spoiling, I'm just kidding. It's been months.
Not really. I
Everything is just solidified in your brain.
I think maybe the second and third time, probably one of the things that was a little more noticeable was that the pacing is so nonstop.
Well-
and it's meant to be that way, but it is.
It's not
It
a
is-
bad pacing. It's
No,
it's
it's
paced
not a bad
well.
thing at all. It's just
a lot
in
going on.
10 minutes time, you're gonna have up to 3 potential different scenes with something huge happening.
Yeah, you're like 4 different groups in like
Right.
6 minutes, just going.
and a lot
through
of like kind of over splicing and things like that. It's very cool. I try not to get into too much because it's kind of leading into some of what I'm going to talk about with the books.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that'll be fun.
It's a little on the older side at this point, but I just watched Thor Ragnarok
Oh, nice.
for the second time. The first time I watched it was in theaters.
Oh.
Second time was just very recently. Now that it's on Netflix.
Mm.
The first time I saw it, I was very unhappy with it.
I think we talked
Because
about this.
did we?
You might have mentioned it for a second, but
We
why?
might have talked about it at a bar. It might not have been on the
Possibly.
podcast.
I mean, yeah.
But basically, I'm a big fan of the Hulk character, and I care a lot more about Bruce Banner than I do about Thor. And the first time I was watching it, maybe I wasn't in the right mindset, but it just seemed to like Thor didn't care about anyone or anything that was going on.
Well,
The way I was seeing it, especially
Well-
when Bruce says, "If I turn into the Hulk ever again, I may never come back." And,
yeah,
and
he's like,
Thor
hey,
just
hey.
brushes it off.
He kind of turns into Tony Stark in Avengers when they're on the helicarrier, and he like zaps him with a pen or something. Like he tries to like push him a little bit, but like Thor's like, I don't give a crap. We're gonna need you for something eventually, and that's kind of like how Tony Stark was in Avengers, I think.
Right, but after watching it a second time, I realized that what I was picking up as nonchalant Thor the first time, he was actually very, very, very stressed.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was the opposite of nonchalant. He was incredibly stressed, and that's just how he was kind of working through everything, which I actually thought was very interesting
Yeah.
to watch.
I mean, I get like he was like stressed out about like everything that was going on, but at the same time in the movie, they don't seem to like stress enough about what Ragnarok is. Like they mentioned in the beginning that at the end they talk about it. Then you have like that hour and like 20 minutes of. You kind of forget what Ragnarok really
Right.
is.
The whole
And
movie
it's all
was
about
based around
him trying
Hela.
to get off to get back to
Yeah.
fight Hela.
That's true.
But I mean, that was the only downside I would say is because like I mean God, Infinity War is just all about Thanos because he is the main character of that movie without a doubt in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's
For sure.
stressed upon a lot, but
Continues to be.
I don't know. That's my only problem with Thor Ragnarok. But I mean,
I
the movie's so
I
much
would
better
agree
the
with
second
it.
time too.
I would agree with it. Yeah, it is a lot better the second time. So anybody who was in kind of the same boat as me, who didn't appreciate it the first time, I would suggest giving another watch.
Oh yeah, I mean all those Marvel movies.
I thought
are good.
they were both great. I mean, because I actually have been mixing up scenes from Ragnarok and Infinity Wars because they're both.
fun.
Well,
Cosmic.
They were both like one after
Yeah.
another, and they both had like overlap of multiple characters. And I'm thinking of
Yeah.
scenes with the Hulk, and I'm like, wait a minute, was that in Infinity War? Or was that
There's
in
only like
Ragnarok?
one scene
Yeah.
with Hulk in Infinity War.
What?
There's only one scene with Hulk in Infinity War, and that was the first 2 minutes.
Oh no! Well, but
But if you're
Mark
talking about
yeah,
Ruffalo,
Banner's.
Well, I'm
gonna be
going
in
by superhero.
He's in there a lot more than you think because he's he's trying to get the Hulk to come out and he won't. And that,
Which, I mean, since we're talking about it, now that the movie's out, there's like commentaries like going crazy, like all the stuff I've not completely read, but I've seen headliners. And apparently, Hulk didn't want to come out now because he was scared to fight Thanos, or he was scared to just do anything or get involved. Apparently, he was tired of being the hero to save Bruce Banner and everybody else at the last minute. That was the Russo brothers' explanation, which
I don't know if I
I-
like that.
I think they're saying that just to get like a debate out of it.
I think the Hulk was scared
I
is
think
a
he was.
better.
It
It makes more sense.
Yeah, not like, oh,
Well,
I'm tired of
yeah.
saving your ass at the last minute. Like,
He literally got pummeled in the
so you're saying
beginning of the movie.
Hulk is tired of being a hero? He's tired of being known as the hero
That theory
to
doesn't
kick
really
ass at the
stand
last
up.
minute to help everybody else. Like, I don't know.
It doesn't stand up because he got pummeled in the beginning of the movie, and if he was tired of being the hero, he would have not got pummeled and been the
Yeah,
hero.
and he
So-
saw those two guys again. They're in
I
front
mean,
of Doctor Strange's place,
and
and he's
he-
like, "I'm not coming out." And he faces the dude again at the
you
end, and he
knew
doesn't want to
that-
come out.
That Thanos killed Loki because he was like,
Yeah,
he falls to Earth and he's standing there with Stephen Strange and Kang. Is it Kang?
wait, who? Wong?
Wong, yeah. He's standing there
Talking
with
about Kang
him.
the Destructor.
Well, that's
From a
because
different one.
that's because I've been
Yeah.
reading these. He says Thanos is coming, and then he like starts hugging him, and he's talking about, well, they killed Loki and all this stuff. So
Yeah,
he's seen some stuff. I mean, I think the theory of him being scared is the only thing that really made
Yeah.
any sense.
I think
Yeah.
it's more just for debate, though. Which
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun to talk about stuff like that. Recently, moving on. Recently, I watched Ready Player One.
Oh, I wanted to see. Yeah.
Have you seen that yet, Steve?
I read it. I have not seen it yet.
Well, I mean, a lot of people that read the book are like, okay, the movies. I mean, it's a typical movie is worse than the book, but
The book wasn't great.
whatever.
I mean, it
But,
was a great concept.
I
I feel like the book or the movie could potentially fix a lot of the book's problems.
well, I don't know those problems, but
The book was very repetitive.
oh, this was not repetitive. This is like I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. More for being a nerd because there's a lot of ensembles of like characters throughout video games. I had to like pause it and just frame by frame, like, ooh, Battletoads. Ooh, Halo, like anything that was any WB product, Warner Brothers product. So like, I mean, name any video game or movies pretty much in it, or Steven Spielberg was in there.
So basically, everything you see on the screen is
Moral-
in joke.
Everything but Lord of the Rings universe, from what I noticed, was in there.
Huh.
So I mean, you had Mortal Kombat, you had DC characters. Then you had your typical like huge blockbusters by Steven Spielberg. I mean, the DeLorean's in there. You even saw that in the trailer if you've seen that.
I thought that sounds really interesting. That's something that I noticed and really enjoyed when I went to go see the Lego Movie. Is that
Yes.
wow? It's all of these different universes.
That's what it felt like. Because you're like, ooh, I know that guy. Ooh, I know that. Oh, I had that set back in the day as a kid. They're like this. You're like, oh my god, I played Battletoads. Oh, Battletoads. Ah, Battletoads. Like, I got so excited. Actually, my girlfriend got mad at me because I kept on pausing and going frame by frame. Like, I need to analyze everything in this. She's like, just watch it. I was like, okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah, pause it and analyze it the second time.
But it's definitely a movie I want to watch like more than once, just because.
Oh, I'd love to see it.
I think you'll like it. I mean, just as a nerd, as a video game nerd, it's probably one of the best like action movies I've seen like last year.
Wow. Okay.
Not as good as Infinity War, obviously, because I'm biased towards that. All right, new things. Well, let's just talk about comics. Well, I'll give you my suggestion for the week. Venom right now is just finished up
4.
Issue 4. Have you read Venom? Did we talk about?
No,
Okay.
yeah.
Venom has a crazy origin story. Not the origin story that you thought it was with Secret Wars when he attached the symbiote onto Spider-Man. Then he branched off and did his own thing. That's all true, but the past is completely different than what we thought it was. He was created by a god that existed before the Big Bang, before these Celestials came in and created things. People... I don't know if this is spoiling too much, but it's interesting. It's fun to talk about. He got this sword. He cut off a Celestial's head, decapitated him. From that sword and from the head, he foraged with fire and hammering, which the noise, sonic waves and fire are the weaknesses of symbiotes. This is why people think, this is like a hint at maybe this is where their weakness came from, which was their creation, which makes perfect sense.
Hmm.
He created all those symbiotes. He was attached to them mentally. He sent them across the universe and worlds to conquer, to destroy. He brought them to Earth to take over Earth, and guess who came out to fight his ass? Thor. Thor strikes his hammer on him, short circuits every mind connection he had with all the symbiotes. And because of that, he lost control of all of them. They encaptured him in this giant, massive ball. And that massive ball is like planet size. And that's why people think he comes from planet Venom. But it's just an incarceration of Venom symbiotes surrounding him for millions and billions of years.
Planet-sized symbiote.
Yes. It's
That's
not
a
a
lot
planet.
of
It's
symbiotes.
just, what's the right word for... It's like a satellite. Just a
Okay.
giant satellite in space of just symbiotes.
Wow.
Now are
So it completely changes anything that you thought about Venom.
so are they all of the different symbiote entities?
I mean, they're all
Like, for
just...
example, was Carnage one of the ones that was encapsulated?
Well, Carnage was created from Venom in experimentation, I believe.
Yeah, but if they're changing everything, then they might as well change that too. Right?
Well,
But this
I
was
just
billions of
meant
years.
If the god's name is Null, right?
Yes.
K-U-N or K-N-U-L-L.
Can you?
So, if Null creates all of the symbiotes, does he then create Venom and Carnage, and that's part of that, or does he just create Venom? And
It's just all Venoms are alike. They're all one single identity.
okay. So there's not multiple. Cause all right. So
There's
with,
multiple Venoms. It's just they're all the same breed.
Well, with the new movie, I mean, I guess we can kind of
Yeah.
transition into this. We had talked, separately that one of the theories or speculations was that Venom was going to be up against 4 different symbiote entities.
Riot is the one that you saw in the trailer. If anyone's seen the trailer, Riot
Right.
is
So
it's like the Carnage. How Carnage was created from Venom, but Riot is
I have
just
Phage, Agony, Riot, and Lasher
yes.
as the 4 different, 4. We're not going to say the 4. We're just going to say 4
Yes.
different symbiote entities. And so that kind of leads to the next question. Did Null create all of them, or how do these...
No, I would. As far as it's like, they took a clone and they just kind of like revamped them a little bit.
Well, like
I don't
not-
think he created them. He created like the basis of what a symbiote is.
So he created let's just say
Just
symbiote.
just Venom style. Then what's the foundation called? I forget. Then they found Venom. They experimented with him. Probably made like clones and just like tweaked him a little bit for different things, different
Okay.
weaknesses, I guess, or different abilities, and that's pretty much.
That's how you end up with the different kids.
Yes.
So,
What were you saying?
so go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just. I don't even remember what I was going to say, but that theory, I don't know. The explanation that kind of leads to the idea that Venom, the Venom that we know of, the symbiote that we know of as Venom,
Yes.
is like
Father of
OG.
all other-
Like
yeah,
he's the original breed, and then all of these other messed up things are people trying to tweak that, trying to mess with
So
it.
would they all be
Yeah.
Venom's children? Because they said that Carnage
Well,
is Venom's
I'm
child.
trying to think of a comparison with something in comics. So there's things like this. It's like a freaking Wolverine, X-23, like exact same buildup. It's just different.
But they do call it Wolverine's daughter.
Yeah, but she's just a clone of him. That's what these other symbiotes are.
Okay, because my other question was that I was wondering before, was that just like if this Null thing created the concept of symbiote and it created this one ooze thing, and then it kind of sputtered off, and as soon as it broke apart from the main body, does it become its own entity as soon as that happens, or is it still a part of?
No.
Is it still like the Borg? Are they all connected even if they're not physically connected, or as soon as it breaks off from the hole, does it become its
I
own
mean,
thing?
as far as I know, nobody was connected after Thor smashed down on him and broke his connection with all of them. Is that where you're going with it?
I'm just curious.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
that just kind of makes me think of
I mean,
Goku,
the last
Goku
issue-
falling to Earth and hitting his head and forgetting that he's supposed to take over the planet.
Okay.
So I have a question that
Hello,
relates
Dragon Ball
to
Z
that.
references.
Not Goku, because I have no idea what that is.
You feel- God, I feel.
So-
I think it's a noodle. It's a noodle dish.
I feel judged right now.
Thor, God of Thunder, issue 6 is the issue that is spiked in price. I mean, it has gone up to, on the high end, I think it's about a $50 book all of a sudden, and that's been a new thing. I don't think it was anything of that great of importance until recently, and it's because of, well, not only the movie but also the new Venom series with Null and everything. So is that the storyline where Thor comes in and
Oh, this was like millions of years before.
I mean, is this storyline with God of Thunder 6, is that the one that tells that story?
No.
So why is that book a
Well,
relevant book?
this is. I have no idea. Unless someone's read it, or they would know. Because. Oh, God. Oh, no. I don't want to spend too much time on this.
Okay,
'cause-
that's fair. Keep going, though.
But, I mean, a little bit of a fun fact.
Okay.
The sword that Null forged all these guys from was used by a creature called the Godslayer, which was from an issue of Thor like 5 years ago.
Okay, so
Which
so
is
here we
another
go.
tie-in to everything.
Thor
Just a little fun
6 is the origin of Gore, the God Butcher, and the first cameo appearance of Null.
Oh, I have that one.
Well, it's a $50 book now.
Oh, I got a $50 book.
Hey, all right.
I got everything. I have one that's water damage. Hopefully it's 5 and not 6.
Well, low end's fine.
Yeah, that's $1. That's
Yeah.
$1 for.
But yeah,
profit.
so that is technically the first cameo of Null. And then
Indirectly
and
the
then
first
they're
cameo,
saying that
yeah.
the first appearance is Venom 3. So,
Cool.
I don't know if this
Yeah.
means anything, but if nothing else, maybe this is like a little nugget that'll make you guys kind of start a theory while you're reading this Venom book. But a null, like in scientific notation, is part of the scientific method in which you say, if I change something, if I change X, then Y won't change. So that kind of makes me wonder if the writers of this were thinking of this null godly creature as like a scientist. Like, what happens in the universe if I create this symbiote?
Huh.
I don't know if that's a thing or not. That's just what first thing I thought of when
I
you said its
mean,
name was null.
Maybe
Interesting.
that there would
I
be some
wouldn't
kind of
have put that
reference.
together.
Huh.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory.
Yeah. All right. Well. Okay. Venom. Big one I suggest to read right now.
Yeah.
Issue 4.
Can I ask you a
new-
question? So
Yeah.
how is the art? Because I'm going to use that to transition into. I'm gonna take
I like the art a lot.
Okay.
It's not too cartoony. I mean, it's
So one of
it's
my,
average. Just I mean, it's not like crazy detailed.
one of the things that I'll this one's a short one, so I'll be able to kind of get through it quick. So I read several books, several different storylines that have been recent and I don't know, hot topics, I guess, of sort. I started Cosmic Ghost Rider.
It's a
and
very cartoony style.
I
of
did
art.
not like the
I'm not a
art.
big fan of that.
I did not like it at all.
Oh,
I was so disappointed. I was really excited by especially like some of the different covers and some of the things like that. And I
Yeah.
like opened it up and I was like, oh, what is this?
It's like
It's-
Nickelodeon style.
I mean, I was
way.
like, I'm very tempted to give up on that
this is
because
a
of
great
that.
one. I'll find a good picture. These all look good. Anyways.
All the covers are great.
Yeah.
But the inside artwork is just leaves a lot to be desired.
That gives you an idea.
It's kind of this like dark theme topic with goofy almost. I don't know. I would call it almost little kiddish type
Yeah, that's why I mentioned like
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon style in a way. Really quick, Amazing Spider-Man issue 2 is the only thing out, which is great because it gives you a good reboot to his life.
What do you mean?
He's back with Mary Jane. He's back. He lives in an apartment. He's back with Mary Jane. He doesn't own like Parker Industries like he did for a while.
What is Parker Industries?
It's a brand
Alright.
new world, dude.
Okay.
Whole new Spider World.
Really quick, he worked for the Daily Bugle.
Yep.
He signed up to be for an internship at Horizon whatever, which was developing new things. Dr. Octopus took over his body. He said, "Oh, you have so much more potential than just working for a company. Let's make your own company." So he makes Parker Industries, and he does Parker Industries for a while. Then let's see. After Dr. Octopus got kicked out of his body, he got back into someone else's body, and he tried to take over Parker Industries. And the only way for him, Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, to beat the Supreme, that's his name by this time, the Supreme Octopus, he has to pretty much destroy everything that he knows of Parker Industries, because the Supreme Octopus can access everything in that company because he's the one who built the company. And because of that, Parker Industries does not exist anymore, and he has to start all over. He lives in an apartment building with his friend, a guy, a.k.a. Boomerang, who is a villain. He comes back. He tried working for the Bugle again, but they found out that, we can got this new plagiarizing information program that will see if something was plagiarized. And the only way he got his doctorate back in the Empire University was, he got it because Dr. Octopus was in his body. Therefore, Dr. Octopus wrote the paper. Therefore, when they used the plagiarism program, it was 100% plagiarized by Dr. Octopus, and he said, "We're taking your doctorate away," and he has to go back to school because of that.
So it's not actually a reboot, it's just they take everything away from him.
He's back to the basics. That's what it's called.
Yeah, they strip
It's a
him down.
reboot, but yeah. So for the last
him of
5
everything.
years,
it's pretty much been building up to everything being taken away from him. So he's back with Mary Jane, and he's living in an apartment with some 2 dudes, and he's going back to school. And that's Spider-Man for you in a nutshell.
Beautiful.
In the last 5 years.
How's Aunt May doing?
Her husband died about 2 years ago.
Oh, that's
Oh, you
too
didn't know
bad.
that?
Well, not Uncle Ben, but a new one.
Oh, I didn't know.
She
that.
remarried?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, J.J. Jameson's father.
What?
I
Yeah.
was to say you'd be ancient.
God. All right.
We do not need to go into this right
No,
now,
we
but
don't.
boy, am I perplexed.
Yeah. Let's. All right. Next
This is
thing.
great. I love
So
it.
let's wrap up these new comic things because I got some movie
Okay,
stuff
well,
to get
I've
to.
got a lot more here. So
Oh,
I
God.
covered Cosmic Ghost Rider, and basically my biggest thing is that I just didn't like the inside art. Hopefully they go somewhere with the story.
I mean, yeah.
Probably the second one would be Thor. Thor is kind of a really interesting one because I don't know. Did you see the A cover for that? The
Yeah.
main cover. It was kind of let's just say it was a little bit more of a different kind of art than what you're used to seeing, and the book was unique in a couple different ways. It actually had 2 separate storylines. It was kind of one of those ones where you read, let's say, maybe 2/3 or 3/4 of the book, and it would say, storyline to be continued, and then you turn the page, and it would say a totally different storyline with totally different art. So the first storyline is it's good. It's very good. I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed the art. It's different. It's kind of original, at least in the sense that I'm not used to seeing it a lot.
There's more art from Cosmic Ghost Rider, by the
Let me
way.
see what you got. What'd you pull up?
Yeah, it just looks kind of.
No, that's really good compared to most of it.
It kind of looks kind of simple and cartoony.
I hate what they did with Frank Castle.
But-
I hate
Oh yeah,
it.
Frank Castle.
He looks...
It's not Johnny Blaze's Frank Castle as the Ghost Rider.
Frank
constantly.
Castle is Ghost Rider now, by the way. And he
Ugh.
doesn't look anything like Frank Castle.
But I think it's supposed to be a fun storyline, so they kind of went with a cartoony style that would match it because
See, you haven't read 2, and it's not that it's not a fun storyline, but it's not.
it's supposed to be goofy. Like imagine reading,
Yeah.
put Infinity War,
See, I can't...
turn that into a
I'm-
goofy comic book.
I'm not going to
I mean,
spoil it for
animation.
you. I'm just going to say that it's right. It's towing that middle road where if they were going goofy, it would maybe be okay, and if they were going serious, it would be terrible. it's like right down the center where you don't know which way it's going,
Yeah.
and the art is not helping. Not either direction for me.
You know,
Anyway.
the second that you said that Frank Castle is Ghost Rider, I was like, no, that's not correct. But after a second and a half of thinking about it, that kind of totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
And I'm
And
interested.
issue 1 we've both read. 1 does a really good job of sort of explaining some of how that came to be.
A magic ring fell from space and you picked it up.
I'm gonna do
We're
a bad
wrong
job of
universe.
this. I'm gonna do a bad job of this, but it's something to the effect of he dies and he goes to hell and he bargains with the devil.
Yeah.
That's Spawn.
In a way.
Yeah, it has a little spawn.
They're
I didn't
just-
think of
They
that, but
throw
it has
a little
spawn.
spawn in there.
And
Yeah, having
so the
fun
devil
with it.
sends him back, and somehow like Thanos makes he comes to fight Thanos, but when he gets to fight Thanos enslaves him and makes him his like I don't know, assassin / henchman.
Kind of like how Silver Surfer was to
The Herald.
Galactus.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, Galactus is in
Herald's
there too.
Herald's a good word, and then so he's enslaved to Thanos for a time, and then he dies again, and then now in starting
And then
this,
John Leguizamo shows up and he's a fat clown.
so he dies again, but this time instead of going back to hell, Odin intervenes on his part, and Odin takes him to Odin's heaven, and then Frank Castle's just in Odin's heaven being a dick, saying he doesn't want to be there because he doesn't think he deserves to be there. And so Odin's like, fine, you don't want to be here?
Just go.
It says something to the effect of,
I dare you.
F you and the horse you ran in on, and he puts him back on the Ghost Rider
Yeah.
motorcycle and sends him back into the cosmos. And so I'm trying not to leak into issue 2. I'm going to let you answer this so I don't spoil. Where did issue 1 leave off? Because I can't remember. I read both books.
He wants to kill. We were talking. Whatever.
Yeah.
That
You
makes
want-
sense. He
you
wants
could
to
say-
kill.
He
That
wants
makes
to.
sense.
He wants to kill Thanos before he can do anything bad.
Yes. Okay. I didn't know if that was in 1 or
But
2.
then he finds Thanos as a baby.
And he
And
decides
he's
to
not even.
raise him.
He's not even a threat. So he's like, I can't kill a baby that's not a threat yet. So he just takes him, and they like kind of running right into the sunset together.
Yeah. He wants.
So
to,
now it's like, what
he wants-
crazy adventure are they gonna get
he
into
wants
this
to
time?
recondition him. He wants to raise him so that he can recondition him.
Yeah.
Is baby Thanos adorable?
That was a picture of
Does
baby
he have
Thanos I
a
showed
prominent
you.
jaw?
He looks like that.
Well, I took it off.
Oh, I saw it before.
He
Yeah,
looks
so no,
pretty
the answer
much
is no.
like
No.
Thanos as
Got
a
it.
baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Alright.
yeah, all right, moving
Yeah,
on.
yeah, we
so
got-
so Thor was really great. I really liked it. They did a lot of kind of like, I don't know, classic Thorish stuff. There's a really great scene of him.
Does he swirl the hammer around? Classic Thor stuff.
Yeah. You get a lot of that. You get a lot of cool hammer stuff. Actually, I'm there's things that you guys were talking about earlier that are like horrible giveaways in Thor issue 1, but so that's we're gonna call that story A. He has a kind of cool scene fighting a cool villain that I won't give away because I don't know if I should.
Like a new villain.
Nah, we'll say no.
Is
No,
it?
we'll leave
Is it
with that.
Loki?
You can't say that. No, it's not Loki. I can say that. It's not Loki. Loki does make an appearance, and that actually leads into issue 2, which I haven't read. Loki wants to send him back to war because he thinks that's where Thor wants to be, and then that says to be continued. But
Oh, boy.
then here's where it gets to the interesting part. So, story B, it literally, you turn the page, it says to be continued, and then you turn
All
the
issue
page.
1, right?
All issue
Okay.
1. You turn the page and it says a couple millennia later. And then you have Thor that looks exactly
Oh, yeah.
like Odin because Odin's missing the eye.
Yeah.
And he's got the gray beard. I mean, you cannot distinguish them apart other than the fact that it says Thor all the time when there's dialogue.
Yeah.
And again, I'm treading lightly because I'm trying not to give too much away. But this was a surprise for me. So we have an app that we've been following that kind of tells us certain information about what is important in comics that are coming out. Kind of helps with knowing which books to buy and are going to have critical parts of storylines. Well, can I give away the Thor spoiler in issue 1?
Go for it.
Okay.
Oh.
So Thor issue 1 is touted as the first appearance. I don't know if that's the right word. As or the reveal is probably a better way of saying it. That Wolverine is the final Phoenix, which I was, the theory and the application were two radically different things, because I'm thinking that's going to take place in story A. Keep in mind, this is a couple millennia later. Story B, and long story short, Wolverine shows up as the final Phoenix, 2,000 years later from this story, and he's old, and it's almost kind of like, where is this going? Because, again, I don't want to give everything away about the story, but because they split the story up in two different parts, it's going to be really interesting how they follow this up. The artwork is completely different. I really liked Story A's artwork, just because it was unique, I think. It was very good and unique, whereas Story B was also very good, but was a slightly more traditional. So, yeah, definitely a cool storyline. I'll say that. I know it's one of the more popular ones, so in addition to Venom, you can skip Cosmic. Venom. You can skip Cosmic for now. See if it goes anywhere.
Wow, that's a pretty heavy B
It's
story.
so heavy. And
Usually the B story's
And
kind of light. Like
I
Megan
did-
has to make cookies for the prom and decides to
didn't-
make
yeah.
a giant one to save time.
I didn't even I didn't even touch on all of the topics because, like I said, I don't know how relevant everything is.
Yeah.
I know the most relevant thing is the Final Phoenix, but they're already putting that out there so that you could stumble across that on any comic website. The biggest one and maybe most important
Infinity Wars.
Infinity Wars Prime and Infinity Wars 1. Now these storylines, I'm going to say by a landslide,
There's a lot of surprises.
Are amazing.
And a little bit of reading.
amazing. I mean, I read Thor because I heard it was going to be great. I was excited about Cosmic Ghost Rider. I know you've been really into the Venom stuff. These Infinity Wars books, there's only 2 of them out.
Shaking things up a lot.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Pretty much.
go ahead.
All right. When the
Say what you know.
When the Infinity Gems and all that, the easiest way to not have somebody use the Infinity Stones, gems, or whatever you want to call them, is just split them all apart.
Mm-hmm.
Back in... There's a storyline called Infinity. There's a group... I don't know if you know much about this. They were called the Illuminati. There's a group of 6 people. Each one held a stone, and they protected this stone. Now, I guess the stones got scattered after that. I'm not completely sure. I might be wrong. And throughout the last couple of months, depending on which story you've been reading, like Doctor Strange I've been reading, he came across the Time Stone in space, just there it is. Like, a scroll guy had it. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to hold this. A scroll should not have an Infinity Gem because they're going to do bad things with it. So he has that.
That's racist.
A scroll?
Actually
All
is
right.
racist.
Would it be better if it was a pre? So they all got the gems. I don't know what happened in Prime, but I think Thanos
Oh
wants
my
to get them.
gosh.
But what's her name or his name?
I believe you're
Requiem.
speaking of Requiem, yeah.
Requiem, I guess, wants to get all of them.
No.
But
No,
Doctor Strange
no.
tries to get them all gathered together and say, hey, these should not be on Earth at the same time. We should get rid of these.
Yeah, he wants to
and
split 'em up.
Requiem reveals that she killed Thanos in Prime, right?
That's huge.
Thanos is actually dead,
She
probably
doesn't-
again though, because everybody
She doesn't
dies.
just kill him. She cuts his head off.
Yeah, and then she shows a picture to
and
Doctor Strange
takes
and
it.
Adam Warlock.
No,
and-
she doesn't show a picture. She
Oh no,
carries it
sorry.
around.
They use a gem to show what they're like. Hey, Thanos, this is Thanos. He's missing his head.
Right. No, they used some kind of I don't know.
One of the gems.
Where they put
Stones.
their hand up and they can see
A
in another
projection
dimension.
of-
Sure, projection.
yeah.
That's a good word. And they see Thanos' body without a head. Next thing you
shit.
know, you have Requiem showing up, rolling Thanos' head across.
Rolls
the
it
ground.
across.
Yeah. So it's pretty incredible.
And Requiem ends up saying, "Hey, guess who I am?"
You saw this?
Yeah, did you see this?
Wait. I thought you only had one. Did you get both books?
I don't have Prime, but I have
you
issue
got
1.
two. Oh,
Well, no. Prime is a separate one.
You have you. Oh, I see what you're
The
saying.
first
I see,
storyline
So
of-
you
You
don't
guys
have.
are killing me because the people who are listening to this audio, when Andrew said, "Hey, guess who I am?" he did the full Mission Impossible pull the fake face off thing.
Johnny.
I'm dying to hear who they are.
Let's. Should we leave that as a?
No.
All right.
I mean, you want. I mean, you're not an avid comic book reader, but
I don't
you're
know.
on the edge of your seat for this shit.
It's
I'm
really good.
very
You
into
didn't,
the.
you didn't know about Spider-Man. What was going on the last 15 years?
Yeah, I didn't know what Aunt May's been
Oh
up
my
to.
God.
Requiem is Gamora.
What?
She has this purple sword, and guess what's in the purple sword?
Yes.
The Power Stone.
Power Stone.
And that's
is
how
in
she
this.
killed. Nobody knew this. Everyone knew Gamora had the stone, but Requiem had a purple sword. We didn't know who Requiem was at the moment. So nobody made the connection.
The
What
big-
was in the sword?
If
They
you don't
killed
know, this
Thanos.
is spoiler alert. The big
Spoiler alert, about 15 seconds ago, you
reveal.
should skip.
Yeah, if you didn't get the alert, you're too late. The big reveal is that Gamora,
Donald Duck is Requiem. Oh.
Gamora is Requiem,
I got
and
that.
she has the Power Stone in the sword, kills Thanos, and
She kills. Oh, is that where you're going with it?
yes, of
And
course,
she kills Star-Lord. But here's the thing, though. He says, "What are you gonna?" She's like, "I want all the stones." And he's like, "What are you gonna do? Gonna kill all of us?" And she's like, "What?" She says something that's very comic booky.
Like,
though.
yeah.
She said something like
death-
death is never death or
Death
something.
is never the end or something
Right,
because
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
comes back from the dead anyways because nobody dies forever in comic books.
Right.
I can guarantee you that the movie writers are not going to do any of this.
Well, no.
Specifically because the comic book people already did it.
Well,
no, that'd be too much to cram into one movie for the next one.
I thought it was a very, very interesting sort of, we'll call it dichotomy, because you already know.
Oh wait, no. Star-Lord supposedly had the Power Stone, and he met up with Gamora in a bar. Like, hey, I'm not going to help you
Oh,
protect
I
the
forgot
stone.
that.
They
You're
kind of
right,
make
yeah.
out, kiss, all probably some slide of the hand. Not in that way, not in a sexual way, in a trickery kind of way. And she swaps out this Power Stone for a holographic stone, and he's like, "I have the Power Stone." When he's talking to everybody else with all their stones, and his hand goes through. He's like, "What is this?"
And that guy Trey or Trent or whatever it is.
Yeah, he has a Soul Stone.
He has the Mind,
Mind
Stone.
Stone. He's communicating
and he
telepathically.
could tell somehow that the stone was a fake. So the reason why this
Yeah.
Trey character, or Trent, or I'm sorry, I don't know his name. I tried to remember this.
It's like Ma-Ti from Captain Planet. He can communicate
Totally.
with people.
Something like that.
He can communicate with everyone on the
For
planet at
some
once with
reason-
you using the heart ring.
For some reason, this guy shows up
Like
with like
Xavier.
a legion of villains.
He's got
Bullseye's with
Bullseye,
him, Sandman,
Spot, Sandman.
yeah.
Okay, so he's not like Ma-Ti.
No, he's not.
He kind of just shows up with an entourage of villains for no reason.
Although Don Cheadle does make a guest appearance.
I mean,
as the
six
best
stones.
rendition of Captain.
I'm positive you got Doctor Strange with the time, Captain Marvel. I don't know which one she had. Drax, Star-Lord with the Power Stone.
I didn't know where you were going from the beginning.
I'm
I was messing with the camera.
I'm trying to think of all the different people who had the stones. Star
I got
Lord,
Captain Planet stuck in
Drax,
my head.
Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange.
Black Widow.
Kwame
I
from
forgot Black
Africa
Widow.
with the power of Earth.
Black Widow, and this Trey guy. Trey guy makes 6.
He had a Bloodstone.
Or Trent or Trey or whatever.
Yeah.
And so this you just have this random one guy showing up with an entourage of villains who has a Mind Stone on the end of like a cane from Jurassic Park, like the sap.
Yeah, it's like the Amber.
And yeah, I don't know enough about who he is or his story, but that covers most of it.
Okay.
Like, I mean,
I'm just seeing what else you had on the list.
the only thing that I have on the list is the one thing that we have not talked about.
Which was... Oh, but we don't want to talk because I don't know.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm sure you'll bring it up.
Oh yeah. God, that's we need to fly through this because that's a big conversation. I have a
I
lot.
know.
I got a lot of heat about that because it still pisses me off.
We're currently at 15 minutes short of an hour.
Wow.
I know.
I know.
All right. Star Wars just started filming. Episode 9 just started filming 2 days ago. J.J. Abrams returning back again. Thank God for most people. If you didn't like Ryan Johnson, whatever.
Abrams did Force.
Yeah,
Awakens.
he did Force Awakens.
I like that. I like that.
They just finally released because Carrie Fisher died. Spoiler alert! If you didn't know that already. And her
I don't
character.
think that counts as a spoiler.
I know.
That's sad.
Some people don't pay attention though. But
You didn't know Aunt Meg was married.
Good point.
they
Touche.
did not kill off her character, Princess Leia, at the end of Force Awakens because Last Jedi, sorry, but it would have made sense to probably do it, but they didn't do it. So they finally announced that they are going to, and it's been backed up by Mark Hamill, that they will use unreleased footage from Force Awakens to put her into The Last Jedi. Episode 9 after
Okay.
The Last Jedi. Mark Hamill said this is a good thing that they're doing, which I agree. It's better than trying to replace her with a brand new actress. It's better than trying to do just this. There's going to be some CGI work to work it in a little bit, but it's better than just going completely CGI like
they did with Tarkin.
Tarkin.
Yeah. General
Yeah, like
Tarkin.
when they totally just like CGI'd Tarkin.
Oh yeah. From
It wasn't the
Rogue
worst, but
One.
it wasn't good.
Yeah.
It was. I was impressed.
I've seen a lot of worse.
Dude,
It was
CGI.
impressive CGI,
Yeah.
but you could
Jeff
tell.
Bridges looked better in Tron Legacy, I think.
Yeah.
But is that? Do you guys think that's like the right choice to do it?
Well,
to
you
at
mean
least
using
put
the-
her in, but we don't know the depths of
I
how much
like-
she will be in it.
I like the original footage. I like that it's Carrie Fisher. I think that you either have to kill her off early in that movie or do something to remedy that because
She can't be a full
because
player
if
through the
you
whole
go
thing.
from these real scenes and then all of a sudden halfway through the movie total CGI, I'm not going to like that.
No.
If you have enough scenes to justify her being there, use it. Why not? Especially
Yeah.
like, what do they call that? I always get this word wrong.
Poseidon?
Postalamus after death.
Oh, posthumous?
Rigor mortis.
Okay, I think those are both technically correct.
That is it's just the wrong.
No, but I agree with you. If it's her real footage,
Yes. I like that.
I say go for it. Like you said, Andrew, I don't get a new actress. Don't CGI her.
I don't even think that was in the books. There's no way they should have been like, well, because if they did, then like.
But and really, she can't possibly be in episode
whole
9
movie,
for very
yeah,
long
right.
because the whole point of this trilogy
No.
is to pass the torch to a new
Well,
generation.
we're also wrapping up somehow.
Or this is supposed to be the last the last story of the Skywalker family.
right.
But what? Ben is part of the Skywalker
I know,
family,
so I'm saying
Which
Ben
means
dies.
that he's gonna have to die if it's the
Yeah.
end of the Skywalker line.
That's what you just said. Is Ben dies?
Possible. I don't.
It's
don't
not like
know.
I know. I don't know any
I don't know.
insider
Yeah, no one
information.
does.
But if it's the end of the Skywalker story, that means Ben dies.
Possibly.
But is Ben really considered a Skywalker if he's a
Yeah.
solo?
He's got
He's
the
got the
Skywalker
blood.
blood.
Oh, okay,
That's
so it's
all
just the
you
blood.
need.
Okay.
Huge prediction though right now. Time travel.
Stephen Strange uses the time stone.
They find him on the planet. No, time travel. Star Wars is going to go back in time. Carrie Fisher's daughter will play a very young Princess Leia before she was even technically known
Well,
for.
wait,
That's not going to happen. though.
wait.
That ain't going to happen.
Here's the thing. I don't really have a problem with the young Carrie Fisher. I don't have a problem with Carrie Fisher's daughter playing it. I don't understand why they need time travel to do that. They
I'm just
already
saying
have-
something stupid. That's all.
I was gonna say they already have Solo, which I'm gonna see. I still haven't seen it,
I haven't seen it either.
That's good.
and I'm sure it's gonna be okay.
It's good. That's all I'm gonna. That's all I could. Say.
I'm just saying
good.
I don't think you need time travel to do those.
I know. That's the one thing that Star Wars has never done. Is
I was gonna
time
say
travel.
they have it all set up to where the story is middle, beginning,
Yeah.
end. So
Mhm. Well, especially since they have both good guys and bad guys in the series that can foresee the future, I don't think time travel itself is really necessary. All you have to do is really...
Usually ruins things.
Well, you have to basically just make it so that a very powerful Jedi in the past has foreseen all of this and does something very specific to do something very specific that makes all of this stuff fall into place.
I'm very interested in the comic books are doing a really good job of pushing the envelope with some of the different origins and Sith things that I would really like to see some of that type of thing start to emerge, but you know how it is.
I never read any of the original extended universe or expanded universe.
This is a new thing. They started a new Darth Vader specific
It's supposed to be
storyline.
pretty good so
it's
far.
yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. And actually, Steve Hazel, the guy who owns the comic shop, he was
Shout out.
Yep. He was saying certain things about that storyline and some of the reveals with some of the stuff about the Sith and how they make the sabers and just some of the stuff. It was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. So, I mean, I'd be honest, I'm not optimistic about that stuff from these storylines making it into movies, but it'd be pretty cool if they did.
Well, I do like the concept of them just kind of throwing out all of the old stuff and bringing in new stuff and new writers. Just because one of the few things I knew about the old, or what they call legend nowadays, is that the Sith was a race of aliens, and that just didn't jive with me.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It just didn't make sense in my mind that originally the Sith were a race. They were a people.
I mean, it was just...
Like, everyone on a planet were the Sith.
Right, yeah.
Well, if
That
you get
didn't make any sense
that
to
does-
me.
I've never really
Especially
thought
if it's
about
called
that.
the dark side. Like, it's not just a race, it's just a way your mind goes. It's just a side.
We're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
into a hole. What else would you like to talk
I was gonna
about,
say, we're
Andrew?
going to have to get to it, because I know that the time is set. We have to get into it, so let's do it.
Okay, biggest debate, not really biggest debate, the biggest talk in comic books right now, movies and everything is...
Pro or con? I'm con.
It's a good...
I'm mediocre. I don't know. We all know about James Gunn. Do we all know about the situation?
Do
to,
you? Because we do. We
Yeah.
do very
just to
well.
give people, listeners,
Let's start with
idea.
the
Well,
one that we haven't talked
No,
about.
let me explain really quick, because if you're listening to this, I'd be surprised if you haven't heard of
might
it.
not know.
All right, over Comic-Con weekend, which was about 2 weeks ago, I mean, I've heard it. This crazy right-wing conservative website released these tweets from James Gunn that he posted 8 years ago. James Gunn, after he posted those 8 years ago, has apologized, addressed it, said what I did was stupid. That's not really who I am, but I had a sick sense of humor back then. They were rape jokes, pedophilia jokes, things that you could, if you read it, you could be like, okay, he's going for a shock and awe joke, but it was not funny at all. There's maybe one funny joke out of it, I thought there was, but that was brought up. Disney caught wind of it. They saw it, and they're like, all right, you're fired. Even though he completely had talked about it before and addressed it, Disney still fired him. James Gunn is a bit of a crazy liberal left-wingist too, so he's said numerous anti-Trump things and things that would probably piss off conservatives that are crazy into that kind of stuff. So in a way, it was for them to get back at him for something that was really close to him. Now, Disney has fired him for sure. There has been petitions going all over the place. Chris Pratt, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Mickey Rourke, or anybody who also is involved in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, wrote this huge letter saying he's not the same person he was before, pretty much explaining that Guardians of the Galaxy explains him in his personal life, how Guardians of the Galaxy was a bunch of people, did some wrong things, they kind of grew, they learned about themselves and became better. And that's exactly what James Gunn was doing. Not doing, but how it turned out in his personal life was he was a guy with weird thoughts and weird things and weird views on life, and he changed, he became a better person, And that's exactly what the Guardians of the Galaxy is about, in my opinion. And Disney, I guess, have reportedly met up with him, and reportedly from inside sources, people are saying that Disney will probably still not hire him back, which
I would not be surprised.
still pisses me off because not just for the art, but for like everybody that's backing him up that's super close with him. Like, he's not the same person he was 10 years ago. I'm not even the same person I was 3 years ago. Like, people change.
Well, I actually had a question before we get into any of the debate stuff. What did Vin Diesel do?
Groot.
For real?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
didn't know that?
No.
Bradley Cooper did.
I
Rocket.
actually did know that, but I did not know.
Yeah.
I saw Vin Diesel's name and I was like, what in the hell did Vin Diesel do?
Oh, Star-Lord, duh.
So I don't know. I've actually, yeah. Let's
Yeah,
start
yeah,
with you.
yeah. Him and I have talked about it
Yeah.
a little bit. I mean,
What are your thoughts, opinions, feelings, etc.? Quick, you've got 2 minutes on the clock.
Okay,
2
well,
minutes. Oh, boy.
I mean, no, my
14 minutes later.
I mean, he had a very dark sense of humor, and at the time he
Have
didn't.
you read the tweets?
No, I did
Okay.
not.
They were pretty
Yes.
brutal.
Yeah, no, I understand. I read the concept, the themes.
Yeah.
They were not great. There are a lot of artists who push that boundary and find out that they
Over
went
the
past
edge,
it.
yeah.
Sometimes it's the only way that you find out those.
Seth MacFarlane, in my opinion, has done some absolutely horrid things, and no one ever calls him out. But that's a totally different thing.
Trey and was it Matt from South Park?
Well, Fudge Packers.
There's
I mean, there's just that list could go on and on.
Yeah.
There's a little animation where Quagmire is trying to rape Marge Simpson, but that's totally something else.
What site were you looking on where that happened?
That's a real thing that happened.
No.
But no, he's a completely different person. It's not something that happened since Disney started working with him. Disney is
Sure.
reacting
It's
to
true.
But
other people.
how do you?
And I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not okay with a company that is reacting against other people.
I think
agree.
I think it's a really. I've really tried to come up with a stance, and I really, after it's been weeks now.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
I still don't
Week and a
really
half.
know where I stand on it. I know that I'm really not for a lot of the witch hunting and saying like, oh, you did this 10 years ago, so you shouldn't be at work. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
Well,
The other thing that doesn't make a lot of sense to me is, I mean, if as a company, if I own a company, and I find out, XYZ about a certain person, and I choose not to associate him, you can't make that company, hire them back either. So on both
Yeah.
sides, you can kind of understand it.
this is. I mean, I in no way am I like a Trump guy or anything, but we have a president that said grab him by the pee in
Oh, I
office.
know.
A guy
Yeah.
that slept with a porn star.
Yeah.
A guy that
No,
I mean,
and
presumably went to Russia. Adult content here, and pretty much got urinated on. And all these things he just keeps on denying, and when he the whole grab him by the pee thing is like, no, I didn't do that. You're right on video. At least John Gunn's
he
like,
came
hey,
out and apologized
well,
for that.
but he
Instant.
denied it. Until
I mean, I remember that during
Yeah.
during the election, they released the tape and hit the
But
next
a lot
day.
of these, if we can have a government official who's in office that can do that,
Actually, that's why I said I don't really see why you would not be able to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everybody has. I've said stupid things. I'm sure you've said stupid things. We've all said stupid things
but
in the past that I'm sure we would regret if somebody had a tape
but we've
and
all
played it on the news.
that was back then.
And that's what I'm saying. We're different people, and I understand how you really wouldn't want to not. Well, you wouldn't want to lose your job first off, especially if you got something as good as Guardians going for you. I guess the only thing that really concerns me is I don't know. Do you joke, either of you, ever about raping children?
No,
No.
And generally, I don't think that's
I don't think they were
Oh yeah.
Where is there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't
Several,
remember.
more than one. and that's one of those things where it's like, I understand the dark sense of humor, and we probably heard and said some of the, dead
Nothing-
baby jokes and stuff like
Yeah, that was a
but,
thing for a while.
right, but like raping kids is kind of like, I don't know. I guess it concerns me.
But that was a thing for a long time on the internet. Like the whole pedo bear thing was,
Oh, yeah.
was a joke
that.
on the internet for a long
look
time.
at 4chan. You'll see stuff like
I don't
that
know
all
what
over.
that is.
You don't want to know what that is,
Yeah.
but 4chan has some dark things like that.
And like I said, I mean, I understand it, but I don't know. Do you think that these guys, I'm saying from a point of view that I don't know who this 4chan or what this 4chan is.
It's
Do
weird.
you think those guys would get hired or be able to work for Disney?
No, probably not.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's all anonymous stuff. No, what I think is funny though, because Roseanne Barr is coming out like she's all pissed that like, oh, everyone's defending James Gunn. Well, your thing is so much more recent,
That's true.
and
True. And again, I feel the same way. I don't feel like, I don't know. I don't like that people are losing their jobs about saying stupid things, but I understand companies not having to employ people for saying stupid
I think they should make an example out of him because it was 10 years ago. But like, if you do something nowadays, I mean,
You think
yeah,
they
you're-
should make an
you're done.
example out of Gunn?
I mean, they are, and I know what he said goes against Disney's values, but like, this should be like a threat to anybody else who wants to work with Disney.
But
It's
they
like,
hired him before they hired him after he said
which
anything.
I don't know why
Many
you
years,
don't
yeah.
do like a crazy background check for anybody
Which,
who's working
yeah,
for
that
Disney,
Disney totally
like
dropped
a
the ball on
government
that.
would do.
I guarantee you Disney knew every single tweet that guy sent.
But until everybody started reacting.
But it's when people started
Discover
reacting
it.
to
No,
it.
you're probably right.
But I think because
You're
the
probably
first week or two, there's that shock and awe. Then people just get over crap. Like everyone's like, oh, Caitlyn Jenner, oh my god, like no one gives a crap anymore. Like you just gotta let time go by. And I guess there's been no talks in the studio about who's gonna replace him just because they think he might come back. But
I don't think he's coming
I
back.
don't think it's. I said this day one, like it's not over. I don't think it's gonna be over
I
anytime
don't think
soon.
there's any way for him to come back. I mean, as Disney, because you just Disney as a company, it's not just a reputation. I mean, they've long standing represented basically entertainment for like
Well,
children.
yeah. I mean, there's not been a single rated R film they've done.
And I don't think that we've really.
Despite the fact that they've had a lot of cartoon movies
Right.
having to do with racism and destroying other cultures.
True.
Or freaking Walt Disney, not publicly, but he was a racist towards Jews back in the day.
See, I don't.
That's a
I
little
wouldn't-
bit. I
wouldn't
mean, you
know
gotta think that exaggerate that to think that, but like, all right.
I've seen some of the things you're talking about. I don't. Where are you drawing the
Well, that actually this brings me.
anti-Semitism?
God, what's his name? Bobcat.
Goldthwait?
Goldthwait. He did the voice of Pain in Hercules, the animated series,
Yeah,
like
I
late
know exactly
'90s.
what you're talking about.
He's like, you know what? I made crazy jokes
Oh yeah.
along those lines of James Gunn. So, in the movement that you're trying to make, I don't want to anything that has my name or character from that movie in your park. I want taken away because I made ridiculous things like that, which I think is kind of funny because
I
he's
love
like-
that.
I do too because it makes Disney look not like a hypocrite, but like if you're gonna do it, you got to do it with a fine comb and do it with everybody then because you can't just let one person go like. Let all these other crazy
I
guys
honestly
like
think that
Robin Williams made some weird jokes back in the day.
Mhm.
I was watching that documentary about him on HBO. He has some weird jokes. So what are you gonna do? Get rid of Aladdin products too while you're at
Yep.
it? Which gets me to the point like Walt Disney, he was a racist towards Jews. What are you gonna do? Take Disney off of everything? That destroys the name of what Disney is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
It's
I
just
think Bobcat
people are
Goldthwait,
just stupid.
especially
Accept
after
it.
making that comment, will never work in another Disney production ever again.
He wasn't going to.
He wasn't.
I know.
He's a writer,
But-
a producer. He could give a shit.
I mean, that's like, why would you want to eliminate yourself from?
Because he's
being
sticking
able
up
to
for
work?
somebody
Because
who
he's
he
standing
can
up for
relate
someone
to.
else.
I don't know, but why would you stand up for somebody that jokes about raping kids?
Because he's made things. I mean, we don't know what he said. He just
I know
said
what he
this.
said.
No, Bobcat.
Oh yeah.
We don't know what he said, but like, I can't like. I don't know. It's just
like I said,
he's just sticking up for a guy who deserves the job that he has, He was a great artist. He was a great
He
writer.
was a great artist. He was an
He
amazing
is.
writer.
He
still is a great
I
artist.
will.
He has
I will
a
give
lot of
that.
things to still do.
100%. I mean, I do defend that part of it, and it's that's why I said it's such a complicated thing because I don't know.
I bet you, my life, if you put out that next third movie,
I'm sure
they would not see
Yeah, I'm sure they'd be
a
great.
noticeable decline of viewers, people buying merchandise, people seeing the movie.
Well, it's all going to matter how much it would be publicized. Because if they hired him back, again,
Or you could have some
Court of
crazy
public
Western
opinion.
Baptist church guy out there like, oh, he talked about
I don't know.
jokes
Court
in
of
front
public,
of the movie
court
theater.
of
But
public
like,
opinion is pretty swift, and especially if you start to see those tweets on any news channel. I mean,
oh, I mean, they can't put those tweets on the news channel. No.
but they could blur out. You know, you would get the gist enough that like there would definitely be backlash.
I don't even know what the context is with that much blur. Although that doesn't give a good defense
Right,
for
you see
James
what I'm
Gunn.
saying? Like they were really bad. Like it was almost to the point where like, how could you have thought it was going to be funny?
I mean, there was one.
There was
How does
more than
that
one.
affect
You can-
your?
you- I mean,
how
you
does
can-
it affect if you go back and watch Guardians right now?
Oh, it doesn't
Do
change.
you hate
Guardian.
it?
No, it doesn't change.
So it doesn't
that.
affect his artistic
No,
It makes me
mind
like
at all.
him
And I
even
said it
more because I'm
doesn't-
going to miss him.
It doesn't change him as a talented writer, talented director, talented artist. I don't think any of those things. It doesn't make me dislike Guardians, but it does. Like, would I see it knowing what I know?
It
Probably.
makes me understand why Jenna Fisher might have got a divorce from him.
Probably,
years
but
ago.
I'm the same as you guys in the sense that we're a little bit fanatical about these movies and these storylines, and we want to know where it goes from what he started and what he built. So, I mean, yeah, from an artistic standpoint, I'm 100% on board with, wanting to see what he would have done with the third one.
I think he'll be involved in one way or another, though.
I
I think he might be involved as a producer. If he's not like directly involved as a writer or a director, I mean, I don't think they're gonna let that happen. If anything, but I think he'll be asked questions about like how would you possibly go.
He's not coming back. He's not going to have
Can't.
anything
Yeah,
to do with
they
the
won't,
third
they
one.
won't let it.
No chance.
Yeah, and I agree with they probably won't.
Yeah.
Well,
it's the same as that Duck Dynasty guy.
I'm being really optimistic, though.
What happened with the Duck Dynasty guy?
He said something.
That was published in a magazine
Yeah,
too.
he
so that
said
was
something
like,
homophobic, and then he was, and then the
yeah.
show was canceled.
no, he was kicked off for the rest of like the series, I think. Really quick though. I know.
Are we even still recording?
We didn't do terrible.
You don't even have your computer out
I
anymore.
know, I took it out because I put a. We'll end it with this. Who would you like to see direct the next Guardians?
Oh God, I don't know. James Gunn probably still.
His brother.
Does he have a brother?
Yeah, he's the one that plays the stand-in for Rocket, and he plays in Guardians 2 his like buddy that doesn't go against him.